I was a single mother. My husband cheated on me, and we was young. I admit that we was young. We got married about I was 19, and we started having babies. Even while I was on birth control, the doctor put me on 21 days and 28 days, and we still had kids. And I always used to take my kids to my husband, you know, so he could never say she keeping me away from my kids. So I drop him off at his mama house. Well, within a short period of time, I'm getting a call to come pick him back up, or he's at grandma and grandpa house, but he don't took off after I don't drop the kids off. You feel me? Irresponsibility. Want to make babies, but don't want to take care of your own kids. You understand me? So I had to. I was a young woman with all these kids on me. I'm going to tell you something. I don't have people dog me out my whole life about this parenting. I stayed up and down in my finance. We talking about where minimum wage was only $3.35 an hour. So you could just imagine a single mama with 4 kids trying to survive, trying to take care of myself and 4 kids and the rent, because my house that I had bought when I was 18, it needed plumbing work, and that means that they had to tap into the city plumbing in order to fix it. That was $10,000 that I didn't have. They told me that it was going to cost $10,000. So I had to end up selling that house for lesser than what I bought. And then I started renting. And it seemed like ever since I started renting, I just stayed at homeless and up and down, because trying to work these low paying jobs all my life. Do you understand? Low paying jobs all my life with 4 kids. I still found a way, but there was moments where I didn't have enough money for the rent. There was moments where I didn't have enough money for a $500 and $800 gas bill living in Indiana, and it gets cold, it gets 0 below and snow, and the gas go up because the heating, you use gas for heating up towards that way. Not a majority of time your electric bill is high as hell. You trying to figure out, how do I balance this? The kids need things for school. Four kids, school supply. And my oldest, he started sprouting up on me. This boy was a preemie. All of a sudden, by the age of 13, Anthony was wearing a size 10 and 11 shoes. And it was his clothing. He was a big boy, big stocky boy, and his clothing was more than the rest of the kids. His shoes was more than the rest of the kids. So sometimes I had to take turns. I had to buy the boys' shoes, then the girls' shoes, or buy the girls' shoes, then the boys' shoes. So at the end of the day, I get so sick and tired of people putting their negative words on me. And they wasn't back there. They wasn't back there raising my kids. They wasn't back there at that $3.35 an hour in the nursing home. And they wasn't back there while you was wiping these people, telling, make sure that you was taking care of them. They was still calling you a nigger. Get your hands off of me, you nigger. But I was trying to help you, ma'am. But compared to some of the other aides that didn't give a damn if you laid in your mess, your crap, and your urine and get bed sores. I was the one that was trying to help you, and I was trying to help myself raise my children, because at some point I did not want to put my responsibility, even as a young woman, on other people. I had to come up with $450 to get somebody to watch my children for me. And that was at a discount rate. I could never, they told me I made too much for food stamp. One time I went down to the welfare office and I was like, dang, if I got food stamps then I wouldn't have to spend so much in cash. Well, the lady told me I qualified for $10 in food stamps because I made too much money at $3.35 an hour. So I told her to keep that. Keep it. Then I could never qualify for a Section 8 program. I tried. Every time, matter of fact, I guess I was chasing after the Section 8 voucher because every time they said, well, you're going to have to go to this shelter because they're giving out Section 8 voucher and you got 4 kids, you should be able to get yours. So heck yeah, wherever I thought that I was going to get a Section 8 voucher, yep, me and my kids was there, sitting there for a little bit, never qualified, never got that voucher. Never got it. And I needed it so bad. My sisters now got it. I could never get Section 8. One time I did qualify for a project. They were shooting around my kids in Elkhart, Indiana. I got me and my kids up out of that mess. I'm not going to sit up here and stay in this mess. I always had a mentality that even if I had to go on welfare, I used it as a stepping stone. I remember the black woman that used to teach the class. Sometimes you had to go from welfare to work. And they used to teach the class that don't use the welfare as a lifestyle, use it as a stepping stone. So I would take advantage of the resources that they had available for me. I had to literally stop working. I remember I used to work my tail off back to back and I was killing myself literally. And the older women pulled me over and they said, baby, you gonna kill yourself. It's like, why don't you go down to the welfare office and go get some help? I said, I don't want to be on welfare. I want to work. She said, I know that, baby, but you working so hard to try to pay for daycare and everything. They have programs that'll help you with the daycare. So I had to literally, after the last baby, I had to sign up for welfare. I signed up for welfare. So I started signing up for the transportation because I had to come up with transportation money to get back and forth to work. I remember buying a car and I told my family this was when I didn't have a driver's license. And I said, okay, I'm going to buy this car. The only thing that I need you can keep it. You guys can use it. The only thing that I need you to do, pick me up and pick me up from to go to work and take me to the daycare center and then pick me up from work. Honey, those people got my car and they come late or they wouldn't show up at all. You talking about a fury and mad woman. I told them, you bring my car back here. But because I put it under their name, it was considered their car. You see what I'm saying? I did that. I'm talking about as a young woman trying to help myself. I had to scrape bus fare money. And if I didn't have bus fare money, me and those kids had to walk. We had to walk for a long time. Even here in California when I moved here, we walked everywhere. We walked. And there was time where finance was doing pretty good. And then finance was doing bad because I never got child support until 11 years later. 11 years later, that's when child support check would kick in and I would get a $17 child support check a week from the first dad, from my husband that took a long time for his 3 kids. At the end of the day, he would dodge the bullet. He would work under table. He would do anything that he didn't have to pay child support for his children. How mean of a dad you was. How mean when I look back at that. You literally will break your neck to work under the table. I could see if you was working under the table and bringing me something or sending me something, but you literally worked under the table to avoid taking care of your children. Damn. So I got an attitude, that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and just work and try to do everything all by myself. And it was hard on me. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It was like, dang, it was like $450 a week in childcare costs alone. So I would do double shifts to try to cover that area. And then the rest of my money, I would do to take care of the bills and put the kids that back in the days we had Kmart, and Kmart did layaway. So I would put maybe about $800 in layaway for the kids' clothes, their school, going back to school clothing, my clothing. That's when you try to get everything. And I would work those double shifts. I'll put $400 down on my order, and then on the next check, I'll try to get that stuff out for the kids. You understand me? And at the end of the day, for a dad to sit up there and let other women keep you away from your children, because that's exactly how I felt. I felt like he had a woman every time I see you got a different woman, and they all had an issue with your children, or they all had an issue with me. And at the end of the day, I ain't did nothing to these women, but I don't want my kids around some strange woman. You understand? I don't know nothing about these women at the end of the day. And I don't need you. Some of them would call themselves being disrespectful and cute. Oh, you could call me mama. No, they got a mama. They got a mama. They ain't calling you nothing. They got a mama. But calling themselves trying to be cute. You feel me? And at the end of the day, I was listening to Pastor Gino today, and he's so right. How can you be so angry with your children? What did they do to you besides be born? You the one that had sex without a condom. Even if you was married to your husband, he knew the deal. We having sex like we grown people, even at 19, 20 or whatever. What did you think was going to happen? I'm on birth control. We still get pregnant. So I went to the doctor with Dominique because it's the last one. Hot dang it. And it's like, why am I still getting pregnant with 21-day and 28-day birth control? And he told me, the doctor said, well, you two are two fertilized people. And trust me, we was. It seems like if I just thought about children, I got pregnant back to back. And then I used to have, here's the bad part, you used to have these white women coming out of the blue. Why have children that you can't support and you can't afford them? Lady, I was a married woman. I was a married woman. You never think that your marriage, that you're not going to have that help. That husband help, that daddy help. Well, it's something where you could just get up and walk away from all of your responsibility and put it all on me and act as if your children don't exist. And Pastor Gino was mentioned, what did your kids? It's one thing to be separated and divorced from the mom. If you don't get along, you just don't get along. But at least when it comes to your children, there should be a fine mutual line and respect for each other because they both are your children. He used to say, I'm coming to pick up the children. The kids used to get excited. I'm going to see daddy. Looking out the window and everything, man never show up. I got so tired of being disappointed. Who do you think they took that anger out on? Me, mom. Still to this day you hear mom this, blame you. Sometimes they got the audacity to team up on me. I never had that extra support that when your kids teaming up on you, dad got your back in the background. You feel me? Don't be talking to your mom. Even to this day, I still ain't got no backup. It's like they get a thrill out of hearing my children disrespect me. They don't understand you was there as children, seeing your mama struggle. And you don't know why your mama didn't become rich. I was taking one day at a time, trying to work every job up under the sun. I was a hustling woman. If it was a factory job, and they say, well, do you think that you can do this? Because mainly this job is for a man. I used to hate for them to say that. Yeah, I could do it. And sometimes I had to lift these screen doors, big old heavy screen doors, and put it up against the grinding machine, sticking your hands in oil parts where a man say, ooh, I don't like getting dirty, but I didn't mind getting dirty if it meant making money for my family. You understand? Used to be a machine operator, used to do soldering, used to do packaging as assembly line. I took all those factory jobs and sit up there. I'll learn it. I did my nursing home, did my CNA, did my home health care, worked in the hospital, worked in the homes. I even took jobs outside, so it'd be hot, trying to cut grass or clean up the yards and stuff. I even came up with my own little business, cleaning offices and churches and people homes. You understand me? Always was trying to find a way to make money for my family and bring it in. You understand? And I hear black men say that my children are the way that they mama are. That's why they like that, because they mama. What kind of mama that they have? Because they ain't never seen no crackheaded mama. They ain't never seen no stereotype crackheaded mama. They seen a workaholic mom. They seen me working. Antoine told me, my second son, that I got mad at you because you was never around us that much. You was always working. That's, if any anger came, it's because I whooped their ass and I was working. What kind of mama did they have, sir? Because I'm getting tired of these men always putting me down, but they wasn't there. They wasn't walking in my shoes. As a single mom, it felt like heavy beams that I had to carry around with me, and I still feel like the whole world is on my shoulders. And you get blamed for everything, and everybody used to always attack me, but I was the parent that was there. You seen me working, trying to take care of my responsibility and not put it off on society. Even when I was on welfare, I didn't have no problem with working as long as I had the transportation and I had the child care. I remember where they was emphasizing work to welfare. Well, ma'am, you can't go to work if you don't have nobody to take care of your kids. Ma'am, you can't go to work if you ain't got no transportation to get there. Sometimes people live far out from certain places, especially where the factory jobs was. So I remember back in the days, I wrote President Clinton back in the days when he was in office, and I did receive a letter back. And I told him about I told him about the hindering blocks of child care. I told him about the hindering block of transportation for single mother. All of a sudden they start getting a child care. I'm not going to say that it was just my letter. There probably was other mothers writing in to the president about the great need of child care help, the great need of transportation help. Sometimes I would move to certain locations, certain cities and state where I found out that they pay you more in, they have a better program, welfare program, or they pay you more welfare at certain state. How I ended up in California, because California pay you more for 4 children than for back in Indiana. You understand me? So I had enough to cover my rent. In California, you kind of break off even. But it's still enough that if you find a cheap place, that you'll have enough to cover your rent in certain area. If you don't have to pay all of those utilities. If you have to pay all those utilities, then you're spiraling right back down at the end of the day. I'm so tired of people talking about how I had to move or how homeless I was. But I ain't have no help. I ain't have no help. I was thinking about no college. I was thinking about making money one day at a time, take care of 4 kids that was depending on me because I was the only parent and they was looking up to me. Everybody want to talk about me, but everybody don't want to hear my goddamn story. And I'm the one that had to go through it. How can somebody that never went through my walk and my journey like they doing now, they're talking shit about me. But at the end of the day, I don't have strokes and heart attack, and I'm still getting up with a walker. Still walking, still trying to make it. And they still putting their mouth on me. For evil, not for the good. They won't even pray for me. They got so much hatefulness in their heart that they won't even pray about my situation. They won't even help me. And I'm a person that really need the help right now. I'm disabled. My knees give out on me. It's like they get stiff. That sometimes it feels like your knees can't even move. You just want to lay down in the bed and just don't move. That's how it feels. So I'm here to tell these men that's always cutting me down, sir, was you there? And when I had to make those choices and decisions as a young woman, back in the days, they used to call it where babies having babies. That's what they called us, that we was babies having babies. So we was children. We was young adults growing up with our children. As the children grew up, we was growing up with them. So at the end of the day, I had fear up in me. I was so terrified, but I had to be strong in front of my kids. But I would cry in the middle of the night. God, I don't know what I'm going to do. God, I don't know. I'm not getting no child support checks. None. My little $3.35 check and double shifts was probably round out for about $1,700 sometimes. Because I'll take all those shifts and I'll work it to the point where my body would get so tired that I'll sleep for 2 days and didn't realize, oh my goodness, I was supposed to be at work. But I slept. Your body get burnt out. Your body gets so tired doing back-to-back shifts like that. It gets worn out. But I'm trying to cover childcare costs. I'm trying to cover all of this since I didn't have that husband and that dad to help me as a backup or help take care of his kids. I'm going to tell you, my little fairy tale, little perfect life was supposed to be, I was going to marry a white man. I was going to have mixed children. And we was going to live in a nice house with a picket fence. And I end up meeting this joker at a nightclub. You understand? And my daughter, she was speaking to me yesterday. And she said, why do you divorce your children? If I had my daddy around me, no man would put his hands on me. She said that majority of men, when she got older, she said basically they took advantage of me. But if I had my daddy around me, and this is 30-some years old, and they still hurt from this. You think that, they older now. They should get over it. No, you still, some dads still refuse to take responsibility, even while your children is older. If anything, I wasn't there for you when you was young and when your mama needed the pampers and diapers and the milk help. But now that you older, and I ain't got to worry about child support, why wouldn't I reach out to my children? What, you think that just because they older, you stop being a daddy? You stop being a father? Or you don't want to hear what they're going to tell you? Because they've been taking it out on mom. They've been shooting it out on me. Everything that happens, we blame mama. Like that Tupac song, everything, when things go wrong, we're blaming mama. And mama ain't got nobody to help her. Mama ain't got nobody in the background to speak up for her. So she taking the bash off of her grown children, off of the world, and everything. And then they want you to straighten your backbone up and just act like you a robot. especially if you're a black woman, and just take that shit and just act like you don't have no feelings. And you wonder why you wonder why either a woman, she mustered that stuff, so she eating out of emotional. She got all these damn different people fighting up against her ass. Nobody trying to understand where you coming from. Nobody trying to see things from your perspective. And then some dads is like, I'm a single dad. It's about time. Because women been a single mother for a long time. Don't sit up there and get mad at me because I'm not falling for your alpha male shit. Because at the end of the day, no, you can't be a submissive woman when you have to raise children and you got to play the role of dad and mom, a male and a female at the same time. You got to protect your home. You got to protect your home from men that see you with 4 kids and they think you're a vulnerable woman. You understand? Do you know how many men that me and the kids had to join together to run them out of our place because they thought they could just come in on a mama and her children? You understand me? What kind of mind frame do you think a woman gonna have? I'm not the only mother. There's white guys don't share my mama's struggle. There's Mexican men told me that my mama struggle. Black men's my mama struggle. Well, if you know your mama struggle, why would you mistreat women so goddamn bad? If you seen your mama struggle, why would you treat me so bad? And knowing I'm a good woman. There was time that I had to take an escort job. I ain't lying to you. Because there was no other job hiring. I took those escort jobs. Hey, I was open. Let me hustle this. Let me try it. I never did it before. Well, maybe I'm going to hell. Same way with phone sex. Maybe I'm going to hell, but I got to I got to take care of my family. And I got to take care of a grandbaby now. Let me go make my money. At the end of the day, call me whatever you want, but I have to go get my money. You say you can't lay with me and not put no money on the table or bring some groceries in the house because you had to learn to get bold. You had to learn to open your mouth because a closed mouth don't get fed. And I got tired of you coming up in here, up in my vagina, and then my lights get cut off. I ain't got no grocery money after you leave. You understand me? So I stopped letting men use me, and I started telling them that me and my 4 kids is a package deal. You can't have me without them. You feel me? And I never, ever, as a mother, had any problem with men. Seeing back in the days, they had the brown paper bags. They'd bring 2 bags, 3 bags of groceries to the house. Yes, they would. And leave me about 50 or some money. Make sure that you go ahead and use that. Looking out for me. You understand? Now I look at the young women, you just being used all kind of ways. You giving it up so easy. To men that's not even your husband. Just giving away. By the time you get a husband, you're going to be all used up. You're going to be all used up. That's if he want a woman that's all used up, don't sleep with everybody up under the sun, don't sleep with everybody in the whole damn state damn near. Seems like it. I'm tired of men and women keep on putting their mouth on me. And they didn't have to walk down my path like they're not walking and down my path with a walker. They're not walking down my path when those AFibs, heart problems, start getting out of control, or because I'm stressed because mama still got the load on her. Mama still got the load on her, even with living with my son. My son, that's good. He took some of the load off, but he complained about it. So you don't feel like it's genuine. Everything is a complaint. You don't feel welcome in his home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a burden now. I'm a burden on you. I wonder how now you're getting a little taste of what your mom had to go through, but nothing compared to what I had to go through. You can never repay me for the giving up my singing career. Oh yeah, I wanted to be a singer. I did, like my mom, but I had 4 kids. I wanted to go into the Air Force, but nobody would watch my son for me. I wanted to do good with myself. And can you believe my family wouldn't give me no kind of damn good, positive support? To this day, they still got something bad to say. I worked as a CNA, and they still have something bad to say. I became a paralegal next to an attorney, and they still got something bad to say. You know, at some point, because I went through a lot of abuse in my life, a lot of verbal, mental, emotional, sexual abuse. You just get sick and tired of abusive, toxic people being around you. And you get sick and tired of having to prove to goddamn people that I'm enough. I am okay. You know? And I became so much of a perfectionist, a high achiever. I got this award. I got this award from JTPA because I would go and sign up for the summer job program and get more skill. Worked for the South Bend, Indiana Housing Authority, El Camino Daycare Center, and other little summer jobs that they would send you to get skills and training. And I worked at the age of 14, even at the age of 12, I was babysitting for a black couple, wealthy couple that was around the corner from me. My mom let me babysit her kids, and I would rake leaves and I would shovel snow back in Indiana. At the age of 12, I would make my own little money. Then at 14, they had a work program in school that if you work in the cafeteria, you earn extra credit so that you can graduate, or it'll balance itself off if you start getting bad grades. And with that program, you work, and then they will open up a bank account for you to teach you how to save your money. Because I used to be very good at saving money a long time ago. You understand? Before the kids came and all that financial responsibility was on me. Oh man, I had so many. I used to worry all the time. Worry all the time. And they used to tell me that you're going to worry so bad that you're going to develop ulcers if you don't stop that worrying. But I used to worry. And then I was in Michigan because I moved to Michigan because Michigan had more benefits on the welfare roll than Indiana. Indiana barely want to give you anything, but Michigan had it where they gave you a little bit more. You got your benefits twice a week. Twice a month. They paid for if you trying to go to work, look for work. They'll pay for your clothing. They also pay for transportation. I said, what? Transportation? That they actually, back in the days, they probably don't ran out of money now, but back in the days, they will pay for you. They will pay buy you a car. Back in the days, I got a black Ford Mercury from the program. See, that if anything, the government can't stand me because I took advantage of those programs. I was determined that I was not going to stay stuck in somebody's project, little plantation homes, and just stay stuck and just sitting around gossiping and talking about people and drinking 40s and getting high. I seen a different perspective for myself and my children. And people used to always say that she thinks that she better than us. I'm not better than you. I got 4 kids that I got to raise, lady. I don't have time to be sitting on the damn porch with you early in the morning and drinking 40s and gossiping. I got to get up and go. Come on, kids, we got to go because I got to drop you off at daycare or at school, and then I got to make it in for work, ma'am. I got to work. I got to work, ma'am. Still to this day, a zebra never changes stripe. I don't get in people business, nor do I dip my nose in people business because I got to stay focused on what I got to do. I'm still to that way today. I don't dip my nose in other people's business because my business, their business is none of mine, and my business is none of theirs. But it's amazing how people got the audacity to not help you, but they'll dip their nose in my business and spread it all over the internet and spread it all over the dang community, and you don't get not one damn dollar from it. They won't even donate one damn dollars. If I even got $1 from as much gossiping from the people that sit up here pointing their finger at me right now, I wouldn't be broke right now. I wouldn't be living in a hotel room or sitting up there living with my son. He get upset. I have to worry about my safety. Not $1. And there's hundreds of people watching me daily on these little social media, internet, so they could get a paycheck, but they won't leave a struggling woman like me. Now that I'm older, they still won't leave me with no money. Social Security try to block me from my money. How can people know how hard I struggle with the kids? My kids know how hard I struggle with you. Why would you grow up disrespecting me, the parent that was there, the parent that's still there? I may not be perfect, but goddamn, I'm still here. I've been there for your grandchildren. I've been there for my grandchildren. Gave up another 16 years of my life after I raised you and got you to the age of 18, where you're supposed to take the baton and you're supposed to make something out of your life. If you didn't make something out of your life, it is not my fault. You decide to make choices and decisions on your own. You decide to listen to outside people more than your own mama, and made bad choices. Mama did her part. Mama put you in the church. You seen Mama evangelize in the church. You seen Mama preach in the church, talk in the church, sing in the church. Hell, it was Mama and her children singing to the congregation. What's wrong with you? You get out here in California, act like you gotta be a thug all the dang time, act like you don't know nothing about God, like you ashamed of Jesus among these people. But did mama raise and train a child up in the way that they should go? And even though that they get older and they may go astray, they should not forget the word of God. You sitting up here letting people put their hands on you instead of you sitting up there, use the law and keep a weapon. But if my daughter had that man, that daddy around, daddy ain't, you could still be with your other wife, but you find out you did what? I mean a real daddy. Because there's some real daddies out there that don't play that shit. You don't put your hands on my daughter. There's some real brothers and some real uncles out there that will whoop a man's ass for putting their hands on the women in their family. And I'm not going to say that my son won't do it. Yes, he will. You just don't want him locked up. You understand? But my son shouldn't have to feel like he got to be a daddy to his sisters. That's how I had to raise him. Matter of fact, the child care got so heavy on me that I had to take Anthony, my oldest, And I had to teach him how to be at home with his brothers and sisters. Now here's grandmama number. Grandma is around the corner from you. Here's Aunt Peggy number. Here's the police number for emergency. Here's mama work number. Okay? You don't let nobody in that house. Only grandma and only Aunt Peggy. Nobody else. You don't open that door for nobody. They didn't have to cook because I prepared the meals for them. You just stick it in the microwave. I even got to the point where I take the stove knobs off and hide it from them, so you won't even be tempted to try to cook you something. But he had to watch his brother and sister. So when I look at it, Anthony had a lot on him because you begin to lean on the oldest one. And he had to watch his brothers and sisters for his mom for a young age. So, at some point he took off on me at the age of 15. But I think he was seeing that as his way out. He didn't no longer want to be a burden on mom. He used to tell me that's why I took off, and I got tired of watching my brothers and sisters. Because he had that load on him. So I hate how I don't talk about people and I don't make fun of them, because I never used to love that in school. I hated people talking about me, and I hated to see people making fun of other people. I guess I was that paralegal all back in school, because I would go down to the principal office for speaking up for people. I guess I was that advocate. I just didn't know that maybe that was the role of an advocate, because I would speak up for people. Because I don't, and I still don't like it. It just turns my stomach to see how so many people will gang up on you to talk about you, but how so less people that will not gather together to pray for you, like the Bible says. How dare you talk about a good woman like me? I have such a good heart, and I have such a heart of compassion for people. There was some point in my life where it was all about me. In your 20s, it is about you. In your 20s, it is crisis after crisis, drama after drama. But you get tired of that, and you finally mature, and you finally grow the hell up. And I'm 55, and I still got people down in my name. My family talk about how she moved here and there, but you know what? They ain't never gonna be honest about shit. Because the majority of the time, this young mom, I was running to family to try to get help. And they would either take advantage of me, use me for my food stamp, wait till I fill up refrigerators and cabinets, and they live in hood rich now because they got food and real meat, not no noodles. Because when I shop I shop big, 3 carts coming out, and I still have a habit of shopping like that when I have a family. But when there's kids in the house, oh, it's double. I double up on everything. And their cabinets, refrigerator get full. You give them, there's some, if I moved to Ohio, I ain't have a job. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting on getting me a job, I'm cleaning up the house. I'm letting them know that I ain't trying to leech off of you. I'm letting them know that all I got is food stamp. So I'll take care of the food part. You understand? Doing something. There was nothing there. If they be honest, now one of them can say that I lived off of them 100% and never did shit. Just was a lazy person around their house. They can't even say that. Then one of them can say that. I always try to give something, or I always did hair. And if I did hair, I'll give it to them. And they took advantage of it and would put me and my kids out. Sisters, brothers, auntie. I was just running to anybody that could help me. And they was mainly family. You circle around where my tracks been. Ohio, family. Indiana, family. Pennsylvania, family. Los Angeles, family. Going towards Atlanta, there was family in Atlanta, in Georgia. Try to reach out to all of these family members as a young woman that was so scared. I was scared, but I had to be strong for the kids. But I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was confused at times. And I found out that the family was playing game. Girl, she headed towards your way this time. You send them to this one, and they'll take something from you. They mooch off of you. Well, at least my cabinets got full off of her. She came in, she filled the cabinets. Then send you to another family member. Well, maybe you should go live with them. Then so I get on the phone. Can I come up there? Can me and the kids come up there? Start telling the truth on my name, because my name deserves some dang respect. Start telling the truth about me and stop lying on me. Even the people, when they got to taking my kids, because sometimes I had to leave the kids in the house by themselves because I had to go to work. I wasn't out there with a man. I wasn't out there partying. No, if anything, they was at home by themselves because I had to go to work. Then I had people spitefully seeing me struggling, but I wouldn't stay at home and sit down, drink damn 40s with them and gossip all damn day long about another woman's business. So they would sit up there in a hateful, jealous way and sit up there and call CPS on me. Yes, they would. It's my turn to tell my story. Everybody else been telling the story, however they've been wanting to twist it and bend it and shape it. But it's not the whole story, and it's not the whole truth. The kids say, oh, you beat us, you abused us. I whooped your ass. I whooped your ass how I was taught. And then when I seen like, man, I'm turning into my mama and like them. I don't want to beat on my kids. Then I started taking parenting class. Matter of fact, when CPS step in your life, you are mandated to take parenting class. You are mandated to follow their rules. So I even changed the way how I started dealing with my children as a young mom. But remember, I was a young mother. Like some of them are young mothers. How are you doing with your children? You want to blame your mama and daddy for every damn thing that didn't go right with you, and you 30 and 40 some years old with children. How are you right now with your children? Because some of them are good, and some of them you even messing up with your children now. You even not so perfect with your children. Your children can be right in your face, and you'll sit up there and you'll blame your mother and your father for something about yesteryears. Now, when it comes to the dad, you wasn't absent. You was an absent dad. What you think? You think those kids is not going to express to you how they really felt? You think they're not going to tell you about their anger? That you wasn't there for them? Be ready for it. I think you're a punk coward for you to sit up there and the reason why I'm not in relationship and talking to my sons and my daughters is because I'm afraid of what they're going to say to me. What about me? I had to take every mouth licking and bashing under the sun. And still, at times, they disrespect me. So, I mean, like, how are you going to be hurt or wounded? Because you ran. So now some of them, you want to be introduced back into your kid's life. What you think that's going to happen? Brace yourself, because it may be a rocky road ahead of you. But does that mean for you to give up? I think that when you first ran away, that was you giving up. I don't think you need to give up on them no more. I think they need to see that from now on in my life, you're going to be there for the long haul. So if I lose my mama, at least I'll have my daddy. I wonder, you hear the same song, especially in the Hispanic and the Black community down to he died. I didn't even get a chance to meet him. He died. And I have no feelings for him. He was like a stranger anyway. It's hard for me to feel for somebody that was never in my life. I knew of him, but I didn't know about him. And for some, you think that, oh, well, because I ran away, I'm no longer a daddy. Who took away your father rights? Not over here. Nobody stopped you from being a dad. I had one man in particular that stepped in, and I swear I believed at that moment in time it was God divine, because the man was a single man but looked it just like my children. And people used to tell Jonathan Wilkerson, who I married in Georgia, those kids look just like you. You sure that those are not your kids? And that man would have a big old grin because he wanted a family. He would have a big old grin on his face. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. When we first met, yes, he would. Now, Tisha and Antoine had the same coloration as he did. And it was like a perfect blended family. Like he came in just in time. And he caught a lot of hell from people. You up there marrying a woman with 4 kids. He didn't care. These are my kids. But people started interfering, and it brought a lot of fights between us. And I was already in the process of getting my kids back from CPS. So it was like the fights would have got my kids taken permanently. So I had to leave the situation. And he been mad at me ever since, but he don't understand me as a mother. I was the one that still had custody of my children. You feel me? But on the good part, he would get those boys, Anthony and Antoine, and he'll take the load off of me. He'll have the boys on the road with him. And Antoine still love traveling to this day. The boys be on the road with him in Daddy's truck, Daddy big truck, because he was a truck driver. And he'll take the boys, and then he'll send money for me to take care of the bills, and then you and the girls, you just go shopping, have fun. He bought my first car. I never had a man to buy me a car before. He bought me a Subaru, and he said, don't drive it. And I had to, because Antoine got a temperature over 100, and I had to sneak it to the hospital. And I almost got back home before the damn police pulled me over and they took my damn car. And he wasn't mad. He just said, I told you not to drive it, though. He was a country boy, overalls, wearing overalls and stuff. I used to hate his damn overalls and so. But he was a pure country boy eating on berries. And he came in my life, and I always try to talk good about him until we met up recently. And it's like, where did this Jonathan come from? Because I haven't heard from you over years. And I was wondering what happened with my Johnny. What happened with him? I used to call his grandmother in Louisiana. Nobody heard, nobody seen, because it's like Johnny go on these missing in action kind of shit. And don't reach out to nobody, don't call nobody, don't tell nobody nothing. And I hate that part about him. It's like, are you just mad? Do you just get into your stubborn, I'm going to keep myself away from people kind of mode? Don't you think that shit is dried and is old and is played out? People want to know where the hell you are. People want to hear from you. People want to hear your damn voice. Don't nobody want to be assuming, is Johnny alive? Is Johnny okay now? Because I had to live like that. And then to get back in contact with a person that I thought that was dead. The last time I heard from him was that a state trooper was behind a black man in a truck. So what you think that I thought that was happening with all the stuff that's happening to black men? I thought the man was dead. And then something told me, look on Facebook. Let's see if he got a Facebook. Because I'm thinking maybe he married, maybe got kids or something, but I still want to see what happened because we still married legally. And I got in contact with him. And you would think that it would have been a happy reunion. But this man brought up some old ass shit. You took my kids away and this, and you said that I hit you. It's like, Johnny, we did have some bad moments. Let's not fake it and make it and bake it. And we had moments where you cheated on me. Now, please don't bring up the past. Please leave the past behind, because then I'm bringing up old stuff about old women. So please don't go there. I thought that it was going to be a happy reunion. I thought that he was going to be so happy to hear from me because I was happy to hear his voice. And then all of a sudden, you sitting up here putting this mess all on Facebook instead of talking to me first about it. And then the first thing I'm hearing, you yelling and screaming at me. Now we ain't talking again. Trying to talk to the man on the phone, he playing games or hanging up. No, you don't solve problems like that. And then it's like, if this how it's going to be, let's get rid of this piece of paper of marriage. Because even you that stepped in to be a daddy, you could still be a daddy. You got a 33-year-old son that ain't got no man to talk to, really, truth be told, and torn over surrounded by women. You could still be a daddy and talk to him. You could still be a daddy to the girls that knowing that this is who they remember, or they have a picture of remembering Johnny in the big truck. You still have an opportunity. You're the one acting stupid. You're the one that's sitting up here hanging up on people and doing that mission in action again. Like you showed me something that the other one, the first husband, didn't show me, and that's how to love a woman and how to treat her well. And once you have been treated well